G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kaitlyn and I am an American living in beautiful Sydney, Australia. And as so many of you guys know, my husband Mark and I are finally going back to my hometown of Philly at the end of June. I'm so excited, I cannot wait. I saw this video of Philadelphia, the don'ts of visiting Philadelphia. As a Philly girl born and raised, I do know what not to do in Philly. But from this channel, Walter's World, let's see if he got it right. Some things you're not supposed to do when you're visiting Philly. So grab a Bicky, grab a cuppa, and let's get started.
Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Walter's World, and today we are here in Philadelphia, and today we're going to talk about is what you don't do when you come to Philly. And the first thing you got to make sure you don't do when you're here in Philly is don't make the locals wait on you. Whether that
Oh my god, yes, he got it right off the bat. If you're going to do one thing in Philly, make sure that you don't make us wait. We don't like it. We don't want to deal with it. I mean, Philly's been voted the rudest city in the world. Well, maybe not the world, but at least the rudest city in the States. And we don't like dealing with tourists. Like, don't get me wrong, we appreciate tourists coming, but we don't want to have to deal with them necessarily if we're not in the hospitality area. We don't mind giving somebody directions, but if they're really going to slow us down and ask for recommendations and just try to do general chit-chat with us, we're busy. We're trying to move on with our day.
that is ordering a sandwich, parking your car, driving around, walking down the street, they don't appreciate non-Philadelphians slowing them down. So that's my first don't I have for you, okay? Now my second don't is if you're actually going to be downtown, you don't call it downtown when you're in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so if you're going to be driving around, you're going to look for center city. We don't call it downtown. Like, nobody from Philly says downtown Philadelphia. Everybody says center city. It's like the CBD here in the major cities in Australia. Nobody said we're going to downtown Sydney. No, you're going to the CBD, or you're going to say the suburb that you're going to. You're going to Bondi, wherever you're going. So in Philly, we call it center city. Nobody calls it downtown.
It's Center City, and Center City is really cool, and it's actually pretty safe for tourists to go and enjoy, and there's tons of great stuff to see when you're there, okay? City Hall is one of the coolest city halls you're going to see, not just in the US, but in the world. It is beautiful, okay? Reading Terminal Market, oh my God, you want to eat well, get that roast pork sandwich, have an Amish apple dumpling, and eat a fantastic food, get the best pretzels ever. You can get it when you're there. Oh, that's not for you? Oh, you can walk around? Let's see. You want to do some shopping? Why not go to Wanamaker's? Oh, I'm sorry, it's now a Macy's, but go in there and see the architecture, just see what old school department stores used to look like. It's really, really cool, okay? But remember, it's Center City. It is not downtown, okay?
Oh my God, seeing these places makes me so excited for the trip back. I absolutely loved walking around Macy's. It's such that old school feeling. Granted, I've almost never really shopped at Macy's, but just walking around was so cool, seeing those old school department stores. There's actually an eagle statue, the eagle, so people would meet there to kind of meet up and then go off somewhere. It's so cool to see these in a video. Like, I'm so excited for my trip. Anyway, next thing.
They don't do that when you're here, all right? Now, the next thing I want to tell you is if you're a tourist, you usually like to use public transportation getting around. And I'm going to say SEPTA, the kind of subway system kind of stuff going around here, and the train system goes around here, it can help you as a tourist, but I would say this. Don't count on SEPTA to be on time, always there, and super helpful when you need it, okay? Give yourself a lot of time if you're going to be using.
Oh, okay, so I'm still so sad. Where he's at right now is 30th Street Station. They used to have one of those old school flip boards. Like, I can't believe they got rid of it a few years ago for this. People were so upset that they got rid of the flip board, and I was too. Like, that was iconic to 30th Street Station. It was so cool to see something. It still worked. Like, there was no reason to take it down as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, as far as SEPTA goes, so SEPTA is the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transport Authority. They run the buses, the rails, the subways, the trains, all of it. And it runs so horribly. I've said before, people in Australia complained about how bad the public transport is in the cities here. Philly trains run about once an hour. Some of the buses run once an hour. Some of them only run on certain days of the week. So yeah, Philly transport is kind of terrible. Luckily, I know enough to navigate it, but yeah, it's not the most reliable, and you're not going to get trains and buses that come that often.
necessarily have to use the public transportation because I don't think you should really count on it all the time. It'll be there and it does work, but it might not be as worky as you want it to work. Haha, if that makes sense to you. I know for the locals it does. Now, with all the walking you're going to be doing around here, you're going to need a snack on the go. And I'm going to tell you this. I know there's Cheesesteaks. I know there's all kinds of great food here, and I'll talk about that. But the one snack you need to have when you're walking around is don't pass up getting a soft pretzel when you're here in Philadelphia. I'll be honest with you,
But that's not a Philly soft pretzel. Like, a Philly soft pretzel is kind of shaped either like an 8 or the infinity sign. Like, they're definitely soft pretzels, but that's not a Philly soft pretzel.
Mom and I have been here for a few days enjoying the city, and still, the top of our list have been the pretzels. Look, I've had fantastic ravioli, I've had fantastic steaks, but honestly, the pretzels here are the bomb. So go grab one. And honestly, don't just grab the pretzels when you're here. Grab all the Philly staples. So get your water ice. Get your tomato pie when you're here. Obviously, the Philly cheesesteak, the roast pork sandwich. I mean, there's so many fantastic foods to have in Philadelphia. And I think that's one thing people need to realize is don't think Philly is just cheesesteaks.
Thank you for saying that, Mark. Really, thank you, because I've had so many people talk about Philly cheesesteak, and don't get me wrong, I'm so excited for Philly cheesesteaks, but there are some iconic, classic Philly foods. Water ice from Rita's, an absolute staple. Hoagies from Wawa, definitely. I mean, you get hoagies from a lot of corner places too, but like corner store pizza, so good. Tomato pies, like you said, roast beef sandwiches. Oh my God, I'm so sad that they closed Nick's Roast Beef in Northeast Philly because they had the best roast beef sandwiches. But there's so many good foods in Philly. It's not just cheesesteaks, but I'm honestly so excited for the food back home.
There is so much great food and so many great restaurants around here. Whether you're going to Reading Market and grabbing food there, or the Italian Market, or any of the fantastic restaurants, I gotta tell you, if you don't eat well in Philadelphia, that's on you. Not on Philadelphia, because they've got incredible restaurants all over the place. Now, if you're coming to Philadelphia and you're going to be driving in, one, I feel sorry for you, but honestly, don't drive in Philadelphia and don't park wrong in Philadelphia either, because the Philadelphia Parking Authority, they're evil. They're not evil. They're wonderful people, and I feel sorry for anybody that works on how much gruff they get, but man, they're good at their jobs. Yes, the Philadelphia Parking Authority are the world leaders in excellence in parking authorityness, because honestly, if you're like 1 minute over, 2 minutes over, boom, you're going to get that citation.
They're so bad with that. Like, I hate the Philadelphia Parking Authority so much. So many of us do. They're awful. Like, you're literally 2 minutes late and somehow you walk up to your car and there's a ticket already. Like, I don't know how they just know to go to your car like the minute it's over. It's ridiculous. It's awful. Oh my God, I cannot stand it. Like, just thinking about the Philadelphia Parking Authority makes my skin crawl, and I didn't even drive over in the States.
If you're here in the summer, like on a Friday afternoon, and you want to go to the Jersey Shore with everybody else, that's another level of hell driving. So just be aware of that. Now, since I'm here in the old city, I think it's important I mention some of the historic stuff that's here. And one don't I have for you is don't think you have to wait in line to see the Liberty Bell. Now, if you go to see the Liberty Bell and there's no line, go in. You'll do your, they do the like airport TSA pre-check thing. You go through, they check your bags. They have the history of the Liberty Bell and what it means. It's actually cool exhibits through, and you get to see the Liberty Bell up close, which is cool. But in the summer, that line can be super long, and you don't really want to wait in that line. Don't worry, there's windows on the back side. So actually from the back side, you can actually see the Liberty Bell. Now, I will warn you, you don't get to see the crack of the Liberty Bell on the outside. That's only on the people that come inside. But don't feel you have to go in if that line's really long, okay? Other great thing to see when you're here is Independence Hall. And my don't for that is don't forget to pre-book your tickets to go to Independence Hall once you know you're going to Philadelphia.
Yeah, there are, depending on the time of year you go, obviously if you're going in July, it's going to be huge, but there are a few places you definitely want to pre-book tickets for. Independence Hall is one of them. The Museum of American Revolution is pretty new, and right around 4th of July, that can get absolutely packed. I mean, a lot of people come to Philly around the 4th of July. So definitely try to get tickets for that in advance. I think we're also getting tickets for the Mutter Museum in advance. Not that I expect that one to be jam-packed. It's a museum of like medical oddities. It's very unique, very rare, something that's so Philly specific. But these are the types of things that you want to make sure you get tickets for in advance.
Another don't I have for you goes back to our Philly cheesesteaks, and that would be, don't think that Pat and Gino's are the only, or
I don't know where he got this list from, but it is so spot on. I'm so tired of hearing people talk about Pat's and Geno's. They're really average cheesesteaks. The best cheesesteaks are from either Steve's or D'Alessandra's. Like, D'Alessandra's definitely, it is a staple. I love their cheesesteaks. They're so good. But Steve's is also amazing. I think I'm a little biased because I kind of grew up on Steve's cheesesteaks. But there are so many good ones. I mean, you could go to a corner store pizza place and get a cheesesteak that's better than Pat's or Geno's.
The best place to get your Philly cheesesteaks. Now, they make good cheesesteaks. I'm not going to diss them that way, but every local that we've asked, nobody has said Pat's or Geno's are their favorite. Now, they haven't said don't go there, but they're like, there's better places to go. So if you're looking for a Philly cheesesteak, go ask a local. Somebody meet, where should I grab one? They'll let you know, okay? And try one of those out. But don't feel you have to do Pat's or Geno's. Just go have a Philly's cheesesteak wherever you are. It's going to be great. And I'll be honest with you, don't think Philly is just cheesesteaks like I was talking about before. Because honestly, my favorite sandwich here is actually the roast pork sandwich. Like, that's amazing. This big hoagie roll and the pork. Oh, and then the rocket rob on top. It's so good. I mean, Philly cheesesteaks are good, but don't think that's it. There's so much great food here to enjoy. That's why it's important that you don't skip the Reading Terminal Market. You know, down, I told you about Center City, Reading Terminal Market, the food you'll get in there, the experience of just walking around and taking it in is...
It's a huge indoor market, you guys, and there's so much good food. There's a lot of good Amish market like areas in there. The Amish baked goods in there are phenomenal. There's so much good food in Reading Terminal. I think there's like one or two cheesesteak places. They're okay, but there's some fantastic food in Reading Terminal.
So much fun. So don't miss out on that one. That's actually my favorite part of coming here. So I had to put that back in here, that don't skip the Reading Terminal Market, because the food, the atmosphere, the people, the vibe that's there is so much fun. And there is the Italian market, which is a different part of town. It's like outdoor markets on the side of the streets, and there's restaurants there. You can do that. It's not as, I don't like it as much as I like the Reading Market. So just to have a heads up for that one. And if you're coming to Philly, I have to tell you this. Don't try to come here and do a museum culture-free visit. This city has so much history, so much culture, so many museums for all kinds of stuff, from hands-on kids museums to hands-on adult museums to museums. The Mutter Museum, which makes you go, huh, that's kind of freaky. FYI, don't go to the Mutter Museum if you're like, you get queasy with body parts and stuff. It's a cool museum if you like the physicians kind of stuff, but if you don't, maybe not. But there's so many museums that are here. The Barnes Foundation, super great collection there. The Philadelphia Museum of Art, fantastic. Franklin Institute's there. You got the Rodin Museum, the Eastern Pennsylvania Penitentiary. I mean, that's a historic penitentiary. You can go visit and see some of the cells that are redone, but there's museums all over the city. Go to some of the universities that are here.
There's so much to see and do in Philly. I absolutely love that. And it's a little frustrating that we're only going for 2 weeks, because there are so many other places that I want to see and I want to take Mark to. If you're going with kids, definitely go to the Franklin Institute. It is so cool as a kid. Like, it's pretty amazing as an adult. I've actually been there a few times. But as a kid, the Franklin Institute is just, it's a must see. If you're in Philly and you have kids, it's just so cool. But yeah, we're definitely going to the Mutter Museum. I think partly because that's really up Mark's alley, but I've also been there a few times, and it's a cool building. They have some really interesting collections in there, but it is not for the faint of heart. And even though I get queasy pretty easily, it's something that I'm at least able to manage. So it's a very cool museum. And obviously there's so many historical museums, so many art museums. It's just such a cool place.
They have their own museums you can see. I mean, there is so much culture on top of culture on top of culture. Oh yeah, and I forgot about all the history that's here. Whether it's the Museum of the American Revolution, or you're going to Carpenter's Hall, or you're going to, see the Liberty Bell, or going to Independence Hall, or the Constitution Center. I mean, there's just so much to see and do when you're here that you need the time to take it all in. Because they've done such a good job putting these museums together that it's not a quick walk-through museum. It's a take your time to go through. I mean, heck, at the Museum of American Revolution, we actually found a thing that has our relative on it. I was like, that's so cool, So take your time and take in the culture, because anybody that says Philly has no culture is obviously an idiot. I mean, I think everybody agree with me, right? So there is that. And going along with other idiots that are out there, don't compare Philadelphia to New York, where you put New
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because as somebody who's from Philly, I'm so sick and tired of people trying to compare it to New York. It's not like New York. It's nothing like New York. Personally, I think we're better than New York, but
New York City in a better light than Philadelphia. That won't go over well here, okay? Also, I kind of going along with that, don't wear your Giants gear or your Dallas Cowboy gear or any jersey for a team that's playing against a Philadelphia team that day or around that day, because people here, I know they have the reputation of being like hardcore fans. I mean, the Philly Fanatic is a perfect mascot for the entire city because Philadelphia is full of fanatics for their teams, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the 76ers, the Phillies, the Union, the Flyers. Oh my God, the Flyers fans. I mean, it is crazy here, and they are crazy for the sports, but don't wear the other team's jersey. Don't be like talking bad about the Eagles or anybody because that can cause some problems. So just...
Yeah, there are some Phillies fans who, well, not just Phillies fans, it's Philadelphia fans in general, have given us a really, really bad rep. I mean, it's one of the things about Philadelphia that I'm actually not happy about, because I don't want to be seen as rude to people who are visiting. To me, that just isn't the sort of image that you want to portray. It's one thing to be like a huge sports city and to love your team, but to be rude to mock, to intentionally be mean to, sometimes even be violent against other sports fans coming to visit in your city, that's not the kind of reputation I want to have. But unfortunately, that is a reputation that Philly has.
Have a heads up for that one. And that makes me really think is, don't take your safety for granted. I mean, this is a big city, right? I mean, Center City is safe and Old City is safe. You have that. But the farther you go north, the farther you go south, you do need to pay attention with your bags and stuff. Don't leave anything out in your car. If you're going to be parking in the garages, just your usual city safety stuff. Don't take it for granted.
Unless you know the city, or unless you are going to visit people who know the city, just stick with the touristy stuff, because it is so easy to literally turn down a wrong street and end up in a very dangerous neighborhood. Like, there are some neighborhoods I would never walk down by myself in broad daylight. So yeah, just stick with the touristy spots if you're coming to visit.
There's one thing that can get you in real trouble when you're here, and that is don't ridicule the Rocky statue. Look, if you're over by the Philadelphia Museum of Art, no, it's not at the top of the steps. It's down there at the bottom, but you got to go and get your picture with the Rocky statue. And don't make fun of it. Don't miss out on it. It's part of coming to Philly. It's funny. It's silly. It's a tourist trap, yes, but it's so fun to do because it just makes you smile when you're there. So don't skip out on that.
And we're pretty proud of that too. Like, there are a lot of Philadelphians who absolutely love Rocky, love the movies, love the whole franchise, and we love the statue. Like, that's part of Philly, and we're proud of that. So we don't mock tourists for enjoying that. Like, we actually appreciate that they can appreciate it too, because it's such an iconic part of Philly.
Also, when you're walking around Philadelphia, don't be surprised if you see a lot of garbage on the street, because you don't see a lot of trash cans around. So do be prepared to see that when you are walking around. It's not randomly put there, it's put there with purpose. The last thing I gotta say...
Yeah, so we do that because they also pick up trash that isn't just in the bins. Like, I've noticed that here in Australia. Like, unless you have an actual collection, for the most part, they pick everything up that's in the bin, and they won't pick stuff up that's on the nature strip. Whereas over in the States, we still have, or at least in Philly, we have people who pick up the garbage by hand and all, and then just throw it in the garbage truck. So yeah, it's pretty common to just see bags of trash either next to trash bags or just a pile of trash bags and broken down cardboard boxes and stuff on the side of the road. That is unfortunately common, and in the summer it smells god awful.
This is from my buddy Tom. Hey, in Philly, don't be a Yinzer here, okay? There's no Yinz in Philadelphia. That's Pittsburgh. And Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have a little bit of a rivalry, and I think the comments below from the Philadelphians will let you know how they feel about Pittsburgh. And yes, we will have a Don'ts of Pittsburgh video as well to follow on with this one. Anyway, I wish you all the best. If you have any other don'ts about visiting Philadelphia, put it...
Yeah, so I've never heard anybody say Yinz in Philly. That's not a thing. Like, I've heard people say yous, we say you guys, but no, nobody says Yinz. That is a Pittsburgh thing. And there's a bit of a rivalry between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I think there's a little bit more of a rivalry between Philly and New York, because New York's actually closer to us geographically than Pittsburgh. But that again, it is Philly, and we seem to think we have a rivalry with just about everybody. So that is it for that video. And he was so spot on about so many things in this video. Like, I don't know how he did his research. I don't know who he talked to, where he got this list from, but it is so thorough and so accurate and so, so true. As a Philly girl born and raised, 100% agree with everything that he put on this list. And I love just how much of Philly he actually incorporated into this video. It wasn't just him standing there talking the whole time. He was actually able to incorporate a lot of the sites and the touristy places that I'm so, so excited to see. So that is it for this video, you guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. I so, so appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video.